Breaking news, fellas. Deadline version 0.24.0 has been finally released after months of waiting, with the addition of new maps, new game mode, new or revamped weapons, and a voice chat. Loading into the game, you will notice the UI is a little bit different. It is a little buggy right now, but there is the new 7 vs 7 game mode, and a new look for the weapon editor UI. The new AK 5.45 carbine, or AKS-74U, has been added, as well as some name changes to some of the existing guns, as well as new descriptions. And camos must now be earned through XP or money. The gun range now has a 200 stud section to test fire at longer ranges. Knives have been added, so you can now melee people using left and right mouse buttons as well as middle mouse for a cool inspect animation. Additionally, you can attach a bayonet to certain weapons if applicable and press middle mouse button to use it in game. However, all weapons are able to shove when middle mouse is pressed, so you don't necessarily need a bayonet, but I'm not sure if this shove action does damage, but it is a new feature nonetheless. Arm stamina has been changed so it does not deplete when you shoot, which is what a lot of people were upset about, so we finally got that. Recoil has been reworked slightly, so shooting in semi or burst is easier, while the recoil rises exponentially when using full auto. A lot of the weapon sounds have been changed too, so that's pretty interesting, but it's not really that noticeable for some of the guns. Before we move on to the maps, I would like to mention that the editor is now accessible between matches, so there is a 90-second intermission between games where you can customize your weapon. Onto the map changes. With the 7 vs 7 game mode that focuses on smaller scale battles, there came new, smaller maps. Delivery is a map that looks like it takes place in the same area as Shipment, with all the cargo boxes and warehouses in the same overall style. Dungeon is a small map focusing on CQB. It is very simple, very maze-like, and very fast-paced. There is already a spawn camping problem here, as the map is so small and the spawns are very accessible by enemy forces. Fun to play, but I'm not sure how long it'll take before the spawn camping starts to get annoying. Nabolag, or Nabolag, or Nabolog, I'm not really too sure, is a map that looks like it takes place in the same area as Tarmac, as you could see. There's the same type of style. There's some little houses here, and there's this section that kind of looks like an airport. I can already see a spawn camping problem happening on this map. There isn't really much cover overall, but I did like it when I played it. Complex V1 is an interesting looking office-like map. I personally liked it. It looks like there's some bulletproof glass here, but maybe that will be fixed. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be there. But this is definitely more focused on CQB. I played this map on King of the Hill. I think it's pretty exposed, and I found that not many people were playing the point. But for a CQB map, this definitely has great playability. Crossroad is now a 7 vs 7 map. In my opinion, it makes a little more sense to house a smaller player population, but it really isn't great in any aspect of CQB, really. I already expressed my dislike for this map, and it's pretty much the same. I think the lighting is also bugged because it kinda looks like it's bright in random places when using night vision goggles, and it's way too dark without them. Pearl of the Orient was removed, but Downtown is back in the main map pool for the normal 40-player game mode. It has been rebalanced slightly, but there aren't really major changes to the map, so most people wouldn't really be able to notice. It's still fun, but haven't really got to play it that much, but it is back, so for all you Downtown fans, it is back. Now for my final thoughts. Based on playing with the new AKS-74U, I think it is a fantastic gun. Like, something about it makes it pretty reliable at a variety of ranges from when I played. But the gunfire sounds though, I think they might be a little bugged. They sound a little too quiet. I think there must have been an error when adding the sound files to where it isn't really balanced to the volume of the rest of the guns. But other than that, considering the weapons, there's a lot of changes and updates made to the attachments that I wouldn't be able to cover in this video, but I'll leave a link to the official patch notes in the description if you want to read all the technical changes yourself. The camos having to be unlocked with XP is something that a lot of people were upset about, just because a little bit of our freedom was taken away from not having the customizability instantly accessible. But I noticed that you can use money to buy camos as well, so I suppose that's not really that big of a deal since you can get money fairly quickly in this game. The voice chat, I never really got to use it or hear anyone use it, but that's okay. Maybe in the future it'll be used more. But I kind of doubt that people would use it seriously. I feel like there's going to be a lot of trolling, but we'll see. Some of the maps need a little work just in terms of detail, but that isn't really too big of a deal. A lot of the new 7v7 maps are new and probably in testing. In the future, maybe some work will be done to them. They are very, very interesting concepts, but I think they need to be played a little more for a better gauge of how good they are. But so far, just playing a couple of rounds on them, I think they're pretty fun. I have no complaints. But those are the major changes of the game that came out with 0.24. Honestly, I think it's great because, you know, any update is a good update. The renaming of the guns is kind of a questionable decision, and the gun editor might need some getting used to. But as I play this update more though, I'll definitely come up with new opinions on the new 74U and the reworks of the other weapons. But so far, I'm liking the 7 vs 7 game mode and the smaller maps. I think it really gives the game a more emphasis on the CQB that it didn't really have before. A lot of the reworks of the weapons are like not really that noticeable unless you're keeping up with the news on all the attachments and all that. But once again, link is in the description of the official patch notes so you could read it yourself. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of mixed reviews for this update, just because of so many changes, especially to the camos. As you know, the motto of the game is your weapon, your freedom, and now that you have to pay for some of the customizability, well, a lot of people are questioning just how much freedom they have now. That's about it. I think I've covered everything, if not most of it, most of the major things at least. But let me hear your thoughts on the update in the comments below. Subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.